Well, it seems that I'm starting to get this stuff down. I actually got my startup working correctly, and hopefully tonight's audio is a lot better than it was this this last stream that I had, which was on Wednesday. Uh, Going back and seeing the stream, I realized that my audio was quite choppy, and also the video end result wasn't that great. I'm hoping it's a lot better this time. I'm noticing some kind of slowness in reaction to the video I see myself versus what I see here. So hopefully it's doing a lot better on the actual stream, and I'm not missing a whole bunch of frames. But what I'm playing with right now is I'm actually playing with the stream settings. There was a suggestion that was made to up the bit rate, and that I had enough enough internet connection for it. But we'll see. It looks like it's doing okay. We'll find out. Anyway, sorry for blabbing on like that. My name is Jacob Jewett. Welcome to my stream. This is a Jacob Jewett IT training and consulting channel, where I talk about IT, and I also talk about some of the trainings and where I am about getting my trainings out there. So we'll start off with that first. So the first training I'm going to do is the FC0U61, which is the fundamentals of IT. Let me pull this up real quick and I'll share some of it with you. So I'm going to go a little bit through this. Through this PowerPoint that I kind of put together. It's going to be integrated with the video. I'm working on that. Tomorrow's Martin Luther King Day. I don't have to go to the office tomorrow, so therefore tomorrow's going to be the day where I actually do some of this stuff and actually put it down on video. So let's play with some stuff here. So I'm going to do right screen. I'm still messing with some of my settings on my Stream Deck, but there we go. So I'm going to move to the side a little bit here. And what we have here is the PowerPoint I put together for the introduction to the CompTIA IT fundamentals. And this is, again, FC0U61. And hopefully this goes a little bit better. But basically what I'm going to do is in the video, I'm going to take people through the disclaimer. Obviously, if you've watched my live stream before, I've talked about the disclaimer. I've talked about how I have it there. Just let me see. I'm going to go ahead and switch screens here. Let's do that. That works better. So I have a disclaimer, and basically along this video, this introduction video, will also go on the same kind of path as the rest of my videos. Hopefully not so boring. I'll have some examples. I'll have some demonstration on the screen. I'll use a whiteboard. I have a whiteboard behind me that I can either stand up at, or I got a handheld whiteboard. I also have a digital input pad, which I may also use. So there's a couple things I can do with it. But so, as I said, this one here is mostly for the introduction. So each course that I do, whether it's A+, Net+, Security+, or the Fundamentals, is all going to start out with like an introduction video where it describes what the certification is, and basically like if you were opening a book and you're reading about the certification, typically what they'll do is they'll have like the opening, okay, and they'll, in the first part of the book, they'll talk about the certification, how to do the test, how to read the book, how to use the material. Basically, I'm going to try to be doing the same kind of thing. So all my videos will start with basically an introduction to the actual certification. Not all the videos, but the course that I do will start with the introduction of the chapter that I'm actually not chapter, but the certification I'm actually working on or have published at that point. And then the next video will be a video that describes how to use the videos I've put out there, how I have them, split up, how you can skip ahead. In the description of the video, I'm also going to put like uh, links to the other videos. So like if you're on objective 1 and you want to go to objective 1.5 and learn, what's in 1.5, you could literally, doesn't matter what video you're in that certification path or that study path, you'll go down in the description and you can click it, whatever section you want to go to, and it'll take you there. So you don't have to like go back, and you don't have to go through a playlist to get where you want to go. Basically, any video, you'll be able to go into the description, see kind of where you're at, and also be able to decide whether you want to go previous to that objective or in the future. Or let's say in describing something in the objective, I refer to another section. I may not call the section out directly, or I may. You can go into the description if you don't know what I'm talking about. Like if I'm talking about TCP/IP addressing, and you're trying to figure out what TCP/IP is, you'll be able to go into the description, find TCP/IP, click on TCP/IP, and go from there. So I do have some plans, and hopefully this will work out better. So basically this first video, as I said, is going to describe first my disclaimer. I have a disclaimer because my videos are free and stuff like that, and we'll go into that in the near future here. About the certification, who is CompTIA, okay, why they even matter, how do you take the test, what does it cost. I'm going to take you through all that. So this is basically objectives, and the way you see this video laid out is also how the videos that follow will be laid out. Then I have my disclaimer. Now my disclaimer is very straightforward. I kind of talked about it in my last live stream on Wednesday. I talked about my mission statement. And in my mission statement, at the very end of the mission statement, it talks about how I'm not responsible, blah, 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 blah. I have to have those clauses there because there are some really crazy people out there that think that because they watched a video of yours, that you're guaranteeing that they're going to pass the certification. As I've said in many live streams now, you only get out of it what you put into it. So if you don't put the effort into it to learn, you're not going to get the benefit from it, right? So, this is my disclaimer, right? So, I am not authorized by CompTIA to be an instructor. I have not taken their instructor training or their instructor certification that they have. They do have a certification that takes you through being an instructor for their certification paths. What is my experience and why do I feel that I have the ability to do this? Well, I used to teach for private colleges, and I did all the instructor stuff without taking the instructor certification. One of my plans is to actually take that certification, so there's no problem there. Even after taking that certification, I am still personally committed to providing these trainings for free because I just think this is something that should be out there and free for people to learn. I do this, again, because I like helping others. That's obvious between my volunteerism and scouting, volunteerism in the community, and of course here, volunteerism through doing these videos, right? All the stuff that you see here, whether it be the video, the background behind me, all the stuff that I've done has been personally financed by me and out of the want of helping other people. So obviously that's why I do this, right? So I do not offer any warranty or any information on any information I provide. So, you take the information as is. Although I do my best to prepare you for the exam, I will not and will not ever guarantee that you will pass the exam. And I can't guarantee, right? Passing an exam is individual basis. That's the whole point of the exam, right? So you can't come back to me later and say, hey, I watched your free videos online and gee whiz, you're at fault for me not passing the exam. You can't do that. It makes no sense. But again, I've had students that have come back that when I worked at the private colleges, I had students that, I had asked them to read a chapter or something before the lecture, and you could tell that they never even opened the book ever. Like their book literally looked just as new as the day I gave it to them in class. And the last day of class, not even a page was bent in the book. So, and those would typically be the people that would come back and say, oh, gee whiz, I watched or I listened to you, and it's like, wait, there's no way I can cover all the information in a lecture. There's no possible way. So if you're failing this, it's because you failed, not because I failed, right? So unfortunately, I mean, I'm human again, like the next one says. I do make mistakes. I'll go to experience of this weekend. I was on a Boy Scout camp out with my troop that I volunteer in as an assistant scoutmaster, and we were teaching the boys how to start fires with 1 or 2 matches. And in the demonstration, I failed, and part of the reason is we were in a very cold environment, and the pine needles that we were using to start the fire just burnt faster than what they could do to actually start the rest of the wood on fire, because the rest of the wood was a little bit frozen, had some moisture in it, and it needed a little bit more heat to get going, right? But that was a teachable moment. Obviously, I again am human, and sometimes I fail. No, a lot of times I fail. The point is I do my best to make sure that I come out with a win every once in a while, hopefully, right? And again, give me a break. I'm doing this for free, right? So I've said that plenty of times. So then I will take people through the first slide, which is going over, who should take this exam, right? So if you've been in IT, let's say you've been working a help desk or a call center, you don't exactly need to take this exam, right? Because chances are that if you've been out helping people with computers already, you know how to turn the computer on, you know some of the basics, you know about IP addressing, hopefully, right? The need for a gateway and the need for a subnet mask. So if I'm not speaking Spanish to you or French or whatever right now, when I talk about IP addressing, then chances are that you know enough information that you probably don't need this exam. And you're kind of ready to go on to A+ certification, right? Generally, to go after your A+ certification, CompTIA recommends that you actually work in the field of IT support for like computer support and stuff like that for generally 1 to 2 years, because you should have it before you go after that certification. You should have some experience under your belt, which is kind of funny because it's kind of like a catch-22, right? Most companies are wanting to hire a technician or hire entry-level people. They want you to have the A+ certification before they hire you. It's kind of one of those things like, well, how can I have experience if you won't let me get experience, kind of thing, so I get that. So basically, this slide on every certification is going to basically go over like, hey, is this certification really for you? For example, in IT Fundamentals Plus, really what CompTIA is trying to do with this certification is not make you an expert, because trust me, this certification path is not about making you an expert. It's more of about building that foundation, right? If you build a house and you build it on a crummy foundation, that house isn't going to last long. It's going to crumble in on itself. But if you build a house on a sturdy, nice, well-laid, and properly well-laid, foundation, building the rest of the house should be easy, and it should remain stable and in place because you have a good foundation laid. So that's kind of where IT fundamentals kind of finds its place, right? And honestly, all CompTIA certifications are really about building that foundation on your IT career. You're not really building the struts and stuff for the house yet. You're really working on that cement concrete base that is the foundation of your house or the foundation of your career. Okay, so this certification here, or this certification path, the FC0 U61, which is the IT Fundamentals Plus, is more about like, hey, these are the different areas of IT. This is kind of like, this is just a 5,000 foot view of what IT is. You got security over here, you got networking over here, you got hardware support here, you got this and that. Really what this certification is about is finding out what aptitude you have or what you may be interested in doing, and kind of giving you kind of a taste of each area, right? And after you complete this certification, or after you do after you complete this particular course or this particular certification path, by the time you're done, you should kind of know basic idea of where you want to go with it, right? Like, do you want to go the network path? Do you want to go the system support path? Or do you want to, go into sales or something like that, right? So it works very nicely in that aspect. This is a good certification for finding your base of where you want to start at and finding that path that's going to work out for you. Okay, so I talk about CompTIA, and I talk about the certification, right? So this, again, like I described, this certification is an entry-level certification, is a basic understanding of IT concepts, terminology, network infrastructure, applications and software development, databases, and security concepts, right? So as I said, if you look at that again, it's really about just getting that basis understanding of what IT is in general, right? IT is a huge career or a huge industry, and we have these different prongs that come off of IT. So we call information technology this one thing, but really it's multiple different routes you can go. There's people that specialize in security, like myself right now. I work for a company in IT security. I work in platform engineer. So I'm just this one prong on multiple prongs of what IT is, right? The IT department I work for, we have guys that just specialize on databases. We have guys that just specialize, guys and girls that specialize on application development, building web pages, stuff like that. We have a network team. That's all they do is network. And then we have a server team that specializes in like VMware and vCenter, or they may be backup specialists where they work in Veeam, or they work in backup exec or something like that. So that really it's about finding, again, this certification is about finding out what these different prongs of IT are, and what areas that you could go into and what you might find works for you. Okay. So then I continue on and I talk about who is CompTIA, right? It's a professional certification. It's vendor neutral. Vendor neutral meaning no one vendor tells CompTIA how to certify people or anything like that. It's a consortium. And a lot of vendors come together and say, a lot of vendors, a lot of companies, a lot of Fortune 500 companies, a lot of small companies like MSPs, they all join this organization, and they basically say to CompTIA, hey, this is what we're looking for in an entry-level tech. This is what we're looking for in this field. Can you please create a certification for it so that when we're looking at these people and we're looking at possibly hiring these people, they have some kind of idea of what we're talking about, right? And we know that if we hire a person that has, you know, CompTIA Security Plus and CompTIA Net Plus, that they know, you know, some basic networking. You know, if I gave them a router, they would know how to set up a router because they know about gateways, they know about subnet masks, they know about, you know, the difference between a network address and a host address, things like that. What IPs are routable, what IPs aren't routable, what's public, what's private, things like that, right? They know that basis. And if I ask them to look at a firewall, they know that, you know, if they got a Security Plus certification, they know that when they look at a firewall, maybe they take the process of, you know, like less access first, like lock down everything first, and then open things up as they're needed for particular reasons, right? Or maybe, you know, I'm a company that runs, you know, I need to have all of my users be able to get to whatever they need to get to on the internet. So maybe I'm more of an open company, and I want someone to look at my security and start locking it down some. Maybe I'm a small company that started up, and, you know, when I started up, I just needed everyone to work. I didn't care about security. Now I've had a couple of ransomware attacks, and now I gotta have someone really look at my environment and see, you know, I may not be able to afford that guy that's like, you know, CSSP or something like that, or CISSP, certified person. I may not be able to afford that person, but I can afford a person that's Security Plus trained, has basic knowledge of how firewalls should work, and, you know, and how to secure in devices. And maybe that's a starting point for me. Maybe that's a price point that I can handle, right? So that's what CompTIA is there for. The CompTIA is there to provide that level of like, hey, we checked this person out, they took a certification, therefore we can say with some reasonability that they know some of the information that we want them to know, right? Of course, that's not always the case, and I can explain that later. If you're watching a live stream right now and you want to ask questions, put them in chat. I'm happy to answer them. Okay. So then I go into how much it costs, what the certification is, you know, how many questions it is, how much time you get, what kind of, you know, is it multiple choice, is it fill in, answer, blanks. This particular certification is multiple choice. And consists of about 75 questions. You get 60 minutes. This price is incorrect. I thought I updated it, but apparently I didn't save it. So when I originally did this slide back a year ago, when I thought I was going to be on top of this stuff like I should be, it was $123. This certification, last time I checked, is actually $130 right now for this particular certification. Now, CompTIA certifications range in price, right? So if you're going for like Net Plus is about $250 to $275 for the certification test to get the what they call voucher to go take the certification. If you're taking A plus, I believe it's like $225 for the first test, $225 for the second test. So it ranges, but they have different prices. And of course, I will be updating this slide when I actually do the recording for this video. And so therefore, that will be corrected to 130. I thought I corrected that before I did this stream, but hey, again, I'm fallible, right? So So what am I going to do for you? This is basically a short version of my mission statement, right? Like, hey, I'm providing this information to you. I'm going to provide the notes that I put together for this certification on my website. You know, I'm doing live streams. You know, the live streams are scheduled to provide free coaching and uh, left available for future viewing, right? So basically what that means there is like, hey, I'm doing these live streams every Wednesday and Sunday. Like I made sure that when I scheduled these live streams that I could do them, and I could do them at the times that would be advantageous for people, right? So, and that they would be consistent, so that once I do have these videos out for people to study off of, they can come back and ask questions, and they know that I'll be there, you know, Wednesday 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and then on Sundays the same thing. 9 p.m. Pacific, or sorry, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific time, so that if you do watch the videos, you have a question, I didn't quite cover something, you can ask the question here, doesn't cost you anything, and I answer it if I can, right? More likely I will be, I hope to be able to answer it for you, and you know, of course, if chat goes crazy, obviously that becomes an issue, right? So that's basically what this slide is. I'll go into a little bit more detail when I actually put this video together, which again I'm doing tomorrow because Martin Luther King Day. Got plenty of time to do it. Might as well. Where should I go from here? You complete this course. You decide where you want to go, right? Generally, the next step is A+ certification. Again, you never stop learning. It's a big thing, right? So you go for this certification. The next step would be A+ certification. And if you were going to go the path that CompTIA wants you to go, you would do this certification, which is the Fundamentals Plus. You would do A+, you would do Net Plus, and then you can go into the area that you would like to go into, right? So usually A+ and Net Plus gets you that foundation, and then you can go into Security Plus if you want to go the security route, or you want to get the basics of security. And then you can keep going that path, right? They have a couple other certifications in that path. So you again, you can go that route, or you can do A+, Net Plus, and then do Server Plus, or you can do Project if you want to do project planning. Again, this certification here is giving you kind of a basic starting point for those other certifications. Okay, and that's very simple, very short video that I'll be putting together for this, and that's just like the introduction. Each certification path that I do will start with the introduction. Sorry, I got to sneeze and blow my nose, obviously, but basically it's just, you know, starting everyone on a basis and like, hey, here's the introduction to this certification that I'm currently teaching. This is, and that's how all of them are going to start. The Fundamentals Plus, A+, and Net Plus will start that way, followed by another video that talks about, hey, you know, this is where you find the information. This is how you use the videos. Oh my gosh, my nose is driving me crazy. I'm sorry. But, you know, this is how you find all this information. This is where you go. So it's a path. It's getting there. So I have a good, reasonable expectation that this one will be out either the end of this month or the first week of February. That's what I'm shooting for. I got some time, a couple weekends I have time where I can pump out some videos. Trying to pump out videos during the week. I had a crazy week last week. Unfortunately, I had a coworker pass away. Tomorrow night's going to be a little bit hard. Tomorrow I have to go to the coworker's funeral. And but working around it and getting there, doing what I can. But so in my other streams, I talked about the fact that this is not the only channel, that I have two other channels I might be doing. One of them is The Blind Leading the Blind, and the other one is once a scout. So I haven't done any content on either of those channels yet. I'm looking to start doing content on the Blind Leading the Blind channel, probably starting tomorrow, because the whole idea of that channel was to do videos or live streams when I'm working on stuff, so that if whoever's interested wants to watch, they can see me in the process of figuring things out myself. Really blindly in the blind. The whole idea of that channel is when I'm doing stuff that I'm just figuring out myself, you know, figure figure it out and share the process with people. So that's the whole idea of that channel. Once a scout, I'm probably going to start doing videos on that in between doing videos for this channel. Those are a little bit more easier videos because uh, I have a lot of experience in scouting, and I just find those ones a lot easier to do because I'm very passionate about scouts. I'm very passionate about IT as well, but I'm very passionate about scouting and know that like like the back of my hand. I think you'll find that I know IT pretty well too, but those are passion. Like that's my after work passion is scouting and giving back, right? So um, when something's like your like for fun passion, sometimes you take a lot of interest in it, right? Instead of playing games, um, instead of doing a lot of other things like going to a bar and drinking and stuff like that, I do a lot with scouting and that's just a passion of mine. So anyway, I don't see a whole bunch of people online. I just want to come on again. I want to make sure I have a cadence of doing live streams, cadence of making sure that people know that I'm here to answer questions and stuff like that. I know that there will be more to talk about once I get these videos up. I need to reach out. I failed everyone because I need to reach out to my friends and actually set up times and dates for actually doing, uh, basically a two-person live stream where we share information and stuff like that. I really want to get into doing that too because I think um, some stories about IT, working in IT, how one got where they were is important. I think it helps other people, especially getting into IT. Like, hey, we all started at the bottom. Like, we literally all started at the bottom, and it's taken a lot of work to get where we're at. And all the friends I have, all the people I know in IT, all started at the bottom. Like they didn't like get lucky and just get pushed into a job. We all started like busting ass, excuse my language, but busting ass, and then working up to where now we're we're happy, right? So we get to do the things that we love to do and work with amazing people. The company I work for now, just truly amazing people. They all are top of their game. They all know their skill, and they're just very good at it. So excited to work for people or work with people like that. So anyway, I've gone for about a half an hour. I'm gonna keep these probably at a half an hour until I get people that actually show up for the live streams and actually start asking questions, or when I start having interviews, I'll do longer live streams. I'm fully prepared that once people actually start watching these and I start getting actual followers and get people doing the certifications and stuff or doing the learning paths and stuff, I'm fully committed to like being okay to do a live stream from like 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock at night, just uh, making sure I answer as many questions as I can and helping people out and stuff like that. So really looking forward to that. Anyway, I've blabbed on long enough. I hope everyone had an awesome weekend. I hope everyone's ready for a great week. Everyone that gets a day off on Martin Luther King Day enjoys that. If you're outside the United States and you're watching this, I hope you have an amazing Monday, or probably if you're on the other side of the world, you're probably already halfway through your Monday. I hope you're enjoying it, and thank you so much. And until next time, I'll see you Wednesday. Have a good one.